Dear all, welcome to the video lecture of pointer to the derived class. In this lecture, we are going to learn the concept of pointer to the derived class, and we are also going to develop one program which will demonstrate pointer to the derived class. So let's get started with the basic concept. Pointer to the derived class. Before learning this concept, we have to remember the three important factors of this concept. That is, remember, in inheritance, the pointer can point to the object of the derived class as well as to the object of the base class. That means here the pointer can point to the both object of the derived class as well as to the object of the base class. The second thing is, the base class pointer points to the base object as well as derived object. This is the feature of the base class, that the base class it is possible to point to the object of base class as well as to the object of derived class. But in case of derived class pointer, the derived class pointer can point only to the derived object. It is not at all allowed to point to the base class object. So in short, we can say that the more authorities are having base class pointer, as it can point to the base class object as well as to the derived class object. But derived class object or the derived pointer can point only to the derived object. For example, if BC is a base class and DC is the derived class, which is derived from, of course, BC class, then in that case the following statements are valid in C++. For example, if BC is the class, that is BC is the name of the base class, from that B is the object created, and we can also create, or it will also point to the BPTR, means it's the pointer of the base class. In the second statement we can see DC and D. So DC is the derived class and D is the object of this derived class. Also here we have declared one DPTR, that is pointer of the derived class. So if this is the declaration done, so from this declaration we can conclude this following statements. So in the first statement, what we have written, BPTR equals to, or it is pointing to address of B. So we can say the base pointer is pointing to the base object. Base object is the B is the object of base class BC. In the same way we can say BPTR is, that is base pointer is pointing to the derived object. So this is also a valid statement. As we can say derived pointer can point to the derived object, so obviously DPTR is the derived pointer of the class DC. So derived pointer can also point to the derived object. But remember, derived pointer cannot point to the base class object, right? So the D pointer is equal to address of B, means derived pointer cannot point to the derived object. So this is invalid in C++. So this is the main background concept of pointer to the derived class object. If you want to declare pointer to the derived class object, at that time we'll have to follow this syntax as well. So let's get started with the program. Okay, so in this program we have to develop a program which will demonstrate pointer to the derived class. So what I'm going to do is, as I have to declare one base class, one derived class, obviously I'll have to create the object of base class, object of derived class, and we'll simply play with the pointers with the derived classes. So how to run this program? As I'm having a code, you don't need to copy it in exam, you have to write it on your own, but for saving the time I'm simply copying this code. How to run it? That is, I'll simply go and I'll type C++ compilers free online. Let's get started with the first link. So if I open the first link of the compiler, I'll have to delete this existing code first. let me delete it, or I can delete entire. These are just the commands of it. So I'll simply paste my code here, as I have pasted my code here. So let's get started with the code. For example, first one is hash include iostream. This is the header file. As I'm running it online compiler, so I'm not included here .h. Okay, so I'm avoiding .h here as I'm running it online. So while running into the compiler, I have declared here using namespace standard. What is a namespace? As I told you in the previous videos, namespace is a feature added in C++, but which was not present in C. But the namespace is a declarative region. We can say it is a declarative region which provides a scope to the identifiers, that is to the name of the types, to the functions, variables inside it. So it actually provides a scope to the identifiers. In short, we can say namespace begins with the keyword namespace and followed by the namespace name as follows. That means this is the syntax of the namespace, which I have already explained you in the previous videos. So this is the explanation regarding namespace. Alright, using namespace standard. Now what I have declared here, I have declared one class, that is a base having name base. Then in the public section I have declared both here both data member as well as member function in the public section. Data members means integer x variable will be required for me. I have declared one function having name void display. So in that display method I have written one cout statement. I have simply written a cout statement in which I will simply print the value of x, whatever I will be accepting in next statements or in the next loop. So, and here it comes the end of the base class. I have done nothing besides declaring one variable and one method which will print the value of x. Moving on to the next, I have to declare one derived class as well. Class derived colon public, this is the access specifier and this is the name of the base class. So remember, this is the syntax when we are declaring any of the derived class. What is the syntax? Class derived class name colon and then access specifier. It can be public, private or protected, anything, and then name of the base class. Here the name of the derived class is derived and base class name is base itself. So in the body of the derived class there is a one public section. Here also I have declared data member y and display method into the public section. What I have done in display method, I have simply tried to print out or try to print the value of x and y. Okay, end L is nothing but end of the line. So this is the end of the class derived class. I have done nothing besides declaring the two methods display which are declaring or which are displaying simply values of x and y. Now moving on to the main method. Alright, moving on to the main method, what I have done is, first of all, just let me arrange it, just a minute. Okay, so let me just increase the size of the screen. Okay, so it is easily visible to you. Int main, what I have done in the int main, base b1. Base b1 is nothing but b1 is the object of the base class. As we are learning the concept of pointer to the derived class, so obviously I'll have to create one object of base class as well as the object of the base class pointer. I'll have to again declare. Same way I'll have to create object of derived class, and also I'll have to create one dptr, that is derived pointer. So what I have done, base class, then its object b1, base class, and its pointer, that is star pointer is the pointer of base class. Now ptr, what I am storing into the ptr is pointing to the base class object, that is ampersand b1. Then what I have assigned, I am assigning value of ptr, that is value of x I am assigning as 10. So in the base class I am assigning value of x is as 10. So in the base class the value of x is 10. So in the output I will get value of x as 10. Next, PTR PTR is pointing to the display method. That means here the function call is made to the display method. So what the display method in base class will do, it will simply print the value of x as 10. Now next line, derived d1. So here through this line statement, what I am doing is I am simply creating object d1 from the class derived. Now on the next line, derived, I am creating one pointer of derived pointer having name star ptr1. Remember, star ptr1 is the name of the derived pointer. So derived pointer, as I said, it can point to the derived object. So ptr is equal to address of d1. Now what I am doing is I am simply assigning values to the x and y in the derived class. Okay, so pointer 1 of x is pointing to what, 10, and pointer 1 of y is pointing to what, 20. So on the next line, what I have done, ptr1, the value of ptr1 is calling to what, display method, and here display method is of which class? Display method is of derived class. So here it is calling to the display method of their derived class, where cout will, in the cout will get output as x is equal to, suppose what the value is assigned, suppose let's assign it in a different way, suppose it's a 45 and y is equal to 20. So this value will get printed. Okay, so we'll try to simply learn this, we'll try to simply run this code. Okay, as you can see the output, x is equal to 10, x is equal to 45, and x is equal to 20. So this is it. Whichever the values I have assigned is, I have assigned 10 to the base pointer value as 10, then 45 was for x in the derived class pointer, and 20 was for the y in the derived class pointer. So in this way we have learned the concept of pointer to the derived class. Thank you.